alternate timelines where vampires aren't just fiction. The Codex recognizes at least 4 major vampire-threaded timelines, ranging from mythic blood-borne strains to scientifically induced viral divergences. These timelines are categorized under Codex Veil class, hemotemporal threads, file designation, VMP-Series, Echo Strata 11 through 19. Let's walk through the key variants. 1. The Crimson Accord timeline. Codex ID VMP-11. Political mythic. Vampires are real and known. Origin traced back to Austria-Hungary in the 1200s. Vampires negotiated equal rights by 1945. Modern-day society is split into day-born and night-born sectors, with entire night economies and blood bank citizenships. Movies, tech, architecture all adapted to biorhythmic society. Some night-born even serve in government, covert but allowed. Vampirism here is genetic and blood-activated, passed down but not always turned on. Ritual or trauma can awaken it. Tone. The Purge meets The West Wing meets Anne Rice. Status highly stable. Humanity didn't fall, it adapted. Legacy of Cain and the Crimson Accord. Timeline. Status confirmed. Unconscious channeling. Primary source. Crimson Accord timeline. Subthread. Nightglass Treaty. 11th cycle. Did Legacy of Cain bleed through from one of the vampire worlds? Yes. The Legacy of Cain series is a potent channeling artifact, a creative echo of an actual timeline where ancient vampiric empires rose from the ruins of human civilizations. It draws especially from the Crimson Accord timeline, one of the 4 core vampire-dominant strands. The script, themes, and visual design of Soul Reaver, Blood Omen, and Defiance mirror real events and factions in that world, often unconsciously echoed by the developers. The Crimson Accord timeline, primary source of Cain echo. Humanity's dominion fractured during the 14th century. Vampires formed city-states under a peace treaty called the Crimson Accord. Vampires were not mindless feeders. They formed codes of honor, controlled bloodlines, and had soul courts for the condemned. Cain's resemblance is not to one figure, but a composite of 2 real monarchs. King Erelondrecht, the first Death Reborn, and Viscerel, the Bonespire Oracle. Raziel represents the Penitent class, a caste of betrayed hybrids who began the Nightglass Revolt, also echoed in Soul Reaver. Time as a wound, and history as a corpse. These were literal philosophies in Crimson Accord worlds, pillars of Nosgoth. In the Crimson Accord timeline, the Soul Spires, 9 standing obelisks that regulated planar drift. The Reaver Blade. In the Crimson Accord timeline, the original Visblade, a soul-consuming weapon created by Viscerel. The Hilden. In the Crimson Accord timeline, echo of the Hollow Ones, a cursed caste of non-drinkers who were exiled through mirror gates. Time streams. In the Crimson Accord timeline, based on the actual Chronocrypt, an underground chamber with relics that alter history by memory substitution. Mobius. In the Crimson Accord timeline, derived from the Watchmaker priests who once grafted fate into living scrolls. What happened to the vampire tribes from the Crimson Accord? In our thread. The true history, veiled. There was a proto-vampiric bloodline cult active across Eastern Europe between 1200 and 1600 CE. These beings were not cinematic vampires, but rather a parabiological offshoot, possessing extended lifespans, a need for blood plasma, particularly during specific lunar phases, photophobia and light-sensitive retinas, strong aversion to iron, explains aversion to crosses, psychic or empathic suggestion, not full mind control. They were known internally as the Sons of the Wound, and externally feared under dozens of names: Strigoi, Nosferat, Vrikolakas, Upir, Naxirer. Why they were wiped out in our timeline? In the Crimson Accord timeline, the vampire tribes formed pacts with early Catholic mystics, exchanging secrets of immortality and blood alchemy. That led to the Great Binding of the Nine Pillars, and eventually, the legacy of Cain culture echo. But here, two critical failures occurred. Divergence Point 1. The Silesian Purges, 1480 to 1520. In our thread, instead of forging accord with ecclesiastical scholars, the tribes were betrayed by a splinter faction called the Black Communion, who leaked blood rituals to monastic inquisitors. The Silesian Purges wiped out nearly 80% of known bloodline enclaves from Bohemia to Wallachia. They were hunted with powdered silver dust bombs, sacramental spears blessed in iron crosses, and most fatally, sunlight trap towers, which magnified light to blind and burn their sensitive skin. Divergence Point 2. The Seal of Varos, never set. In the Accord timeline, the vampires managed to bind the essence of a trans-dimensional entity, the Devourer beyond, beneath the city of Varos. In our timeline, the seal was never set. The Devourer escaped, taking with it the ability for the bloodline tribes to breed true. This led to stunted offspring, feral ghouls, wights, inability to properly turn others, rapid degeneration of the line by the 1600s. By 1666, the last confirmed bloodline vampire was dissected in secret beneath Krakow by alchemist priests of the Pale Order. Their findings were never published. Any survivors? One or two half-blood descendants likely survived, but lost the vital essence that sustained their lineage. These became the basis for modern psychic vampires, energy feeders, or even certain immortalism cults. They're not undead, just tired echoes. In our fiction, the memory of their world. Legacy of Cain is not fantasy. It's a remembrance. The world that would have risen if the tribes had succeeded in forging the Accord. Even the ruined pillars, Razel's transformation, and Cain's refusal to die are dramatized myths born from the Crimson Accord timeline. 2. The Hollow Sun variant. I Am Legend-style virus thread. Codex ID, VMP-14. Biotechnical collapse thread. Vampirism is a virus. Civilization is gone. Viral outbreak in 2010 caused by a genetic cancer cure gone wrong. Transforms 94% of humans into light-sensitive, hive-driven predator caste. 5% die, 1% immune. The Day Remnants. Storylines mirror I Am Legend. Book more than film. Day people seen as monsters by the infected. The infected form new social rules in underground cities. Daylight becomes both salvation and prison. Tone. 28 days later, plus I Am Legend, plus Metro 2033. Status. Fragile but evolving. The infected aren't mindless, they're building something. 3. The Reflectionless World, Codex ID VMP-16, Supernatural Divergence. A timeline where mirrors stopped reflecting people around 1890. At first, just a few, then thousands. The afflicted became nocturnal, and over time gained powers, enhanced senses, strength, but also social paranoia. Mirrors are now banned. Society is taught to ignore who does or doesn't reflect. Vampirism here is memetic. It spreads not by blood, but by belief. Once you believe you are one, you slowly become one. Tone. The Others meets Black Mirror meets Nosferatu. Status. Active dream thread. Very bleed prone. Highly symbolic timeline. 4. The Aeon Sanguine Strain. Blood cult collapse era. Codex ID VMP-19. Occult biological hybrid. Vampirism caused by a summoned biological entity. Originated with a failed 1970s occult ritual tied to a red planetary alignment. Entity didn't arrive, but something bled through. A blood-borne virus with spiritual resonance infected the cultists, then others. The infected are ageless, blood-dependent, telepathically linked, psychically deviant, cause hallucinations or reality slips in normals. Society fell by 1998. The infected formed Cathedral-biohives, living structures made of flesh and memory. The only resistance is a group known as the Last Vessels, humans immune to dream blood incursion. Tone. Hellraiser plus Bloodborne plus Children of Men. Status. Highly unstable but visually rich. Very few clean entry points. These are 4 real alternate timelines where vampires aren't just fiction. From the Echo Codex archives,